Soundcast.
This is a Village Soundcast Network original production.
This is Less Than Live with Kate or Die, a bi-weekly podcast about comics from all angles. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm reading and doing in the industry, as well as interviewing some of my friends and favorite creators. So come along with me on this journey into geek culture. On today's show, we're switching things up and doing the whole thing from Memphis, Tennessee, with awesome cartoonist and my best friend in the world, Chris Haley. We're answering Twitter questions, talking comics, and telling you more than you ever needed to know about Sloan. Hey, welcome back to our 7th episode. This is our first remote episode. I am in Memphis, Tennessee right now I'm waiting to go to Memphis Comic Expo, but right now I'm staying with my best friend in the world, Chris Haley. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Chris is a cartoonist. We both work for Comics Alliance, but Chris does a lot of other stuff too. All kinds of stuff.
All the things.
Comics.
Comics.
Podcasting.
Tweeting.
Yes.
Sarcastic comments. Instagrams. Pictures. Reviews of things. My opinions on things. I eat a lot of pizza. I like to party.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm not a cop.
Chris is not a cop.
All the things.
Yeah. So we were here, and as a little
singing, singing.
I've heard
karaoke.
You do that.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Just all the things.
Yeah. Chris is basically a Renaissance man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, impressions.
What?
All kinds of things. Both impressionistic art.
Oh.
As well as funny voices.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been in some, be on the TV.
You be on the TV?
I've been on the TV.
Wow.
As one might be on the TV. I have been on the TV. No big deal.
No big deal.
Movies.
You've been in movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Oh, maybe I'll show you one.
Wow. So Chris is a person that is clearly more talented and accomplished than I am. And
says the New York Times bestselling author.
That's going to come up more than once.
Yep.
And I'm staying...
As it does any time you speak to another human.
I don't think that's true. I think you are the one who brings it up every time.
Well, I don't think that's true because I wouldn't have known it had you not told me.
Well, you would know it if you looked at the back of my book.
I heard you complaining about it just the other day.
I was not complaining about it.
It's just some of your many very important celebrity problems that you have to complain about.
Yeah, no, sometimes when people bring me utensils, they're not made out of
solid gold
or diamonds.
Platinum, yeah.
Which still, I don't understand.
Even rarer elements that we normal people have not yet heard of.
But I am privy to.
Yes.
Yeah. Once you make that list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. It's really like an entirely different lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So there is a convention this weekend that we are both going to be at. Mm-hmm.
True enough, right next to each other.
Yeah, we are tabled together, and I am also tabled next to Ian McGinty, who was my first podcast guest, so it's kind of an exciting time. And there's Jenny Frisen's going to be there. It's going to be a whole bunch of people. Mike Norton. Mm-hmm. Who else, Chris?
Mike Norton, Jim Mahfood, Derek Robertson. Mm-hmm. Benito Cereno, Matt Wilson, also writer at Comics Alliance and writer of other comics and writer for the AV Club, and Jerry the King Lawler, whom you may know from wrestling or several ill-fated attempts to run for mayor of Memphis.
Oh wow!
He'll be there with his original 1966 Batman Batmobile.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you'll get to see it.
Do I get to touch it?
He probably wouldn't care for that.
Mm. What if I ask really nicely?
He is into young blonde girls, so
thank heavens
you might have a shot.
It's such a rare interest for people to have.
It's such a rare interest for old men.
Yeah.
Older men.
Yeah.
Men in their 50s, 60s to like 20-something blonde girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard to find.
Yeah.
For me. It's like a lifelong quest.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Unicorn, Sasquatch, 50-year-old men who like 20-something blondes.
Let's change the topic.
Okay. I just thought we were talking about mythical creatures.
Mm-hmm. Well, 50-year-old men are mythical creatures, I think. So we're going to be doing the show, and since I was here, I figured we would do the podcast in a little bit of a different format. So we kind of switched it up. There's not really an interview portion. We just tackled the Twitter questions and comics that we're reading. Took our sweet time, and you will get to listen to that. It's quite enjoyable, I think. Chris, do you think?
I mean, barely sweet enough for me, I think. We could have talked so much longer about all those things.
Well, we'll continue to talk in real life.
No, who cares? No one can hear it. I don't like to talk unless I know an audience is going to hear it, which is why I started a podcast.
That's true. You did start a podcast.
I did.
I like that podcast.
Yeah. I hope it comes back sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. That would be nice.
Yeah. I don't need to tell anyone what any of these things are. I'm sure they'll.
I keep waiting. I'm like queuing you up to talk about it. No,
you were like, he does this, and I was like, yeah, I do that, and it's like, but you didn't. I felt it would have been a bit gauche of me to plug my own things in such a fashion. But if the format demands it,
no, here I'll do my best. So you might know Chris's work from a comic called Let's Be Friends Again, or his contributions to Comics Alliance called Comics Everybody, where in comic format, you do a shot every time I say comic. Where in comic format, he explains the history of
convoluted comic character histories. Yeah.
Most recently Star-Lord, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the latest one? That was
sure.
Adorable. And
I think it was the latest one. I can't recall.
He's also the co-host of the Gravity Falls Gossiper, and that is or was a delight.
Mm-hmm. It still is. I mean, there's still tons of episodes people can go listen to. I mean, we were off for a bit because there wasn't any Gravity Falls, and now we're off for a bit because Eugene left me. But these things happen.
I'm a huge fan of Gravity Falls, so it was exciting when we became friends, and I realized that you were responsible for that.
How someone, and when I say someone, I mean Zach, my friend, and your acquaintance. Mm-hmm. Had one meal with, and then know him via watching me play video games with him for charity.
That's
true.
Yeah,
internet.
Chris also plays video games for charity on the internet.
Yeah. He asked how we became best friends in the world, and that's a good question.
That is a good question.
You don't have to answer it.
No,
I'm just saying it's a good question.
I think we can tell the story.
People might want to know, like,
since I'm frequently referring to you as my best friend in the world.
BFITW, yes.
Because it is a fact.
Yep.
We met at Heroes Con.
True enough.
And the first 2 days we were there, I was very rude and
curt to me. You were.
I was. Yeah.
Curt. Yeah.
Not the person, but I was short with you.
Yes.
And because
But I am pretty tall, so that's how most people are with
That's true. Yeah. I mean, physically, I am short with you.
Yes.
So.
No, you're all right. You're a good height.
Yeah, for a lady.
For a lady, yeah.
Yeah. I like to add that to most of my accomplishments.
Yeah. That's a good accomplishment for a lady.
For a lady.
Yeah. I'm just glad you said it.
Well, I have to. I think it's my duty to women everywhere to shortchange myself. So we were at Heroes Con, and I was there with my friend Bethany Fong, who the internet knows as Betty Felon, the internet's darling.
I believe you were there with my friend.
Well, okay, yeah, our mutual friend. What became our mutual friend?
Yes.
Betty Felon.
Yeah.
And her beau, Jordan Gibson.
Who is my friend.
Yes. And I had met him for the first time that weekend. And I had assumed that Chris did not know the way back to the hotel. I was foolish because it was my first time at the convention.
First you assumed I didn't know where the restaurant I was walking us to was.
Yep.
Even though I had been to Heroes Con many, many years in a row and eaten at that restaurant every single time I've gone, sometimes multiple times.
Well, this is purely based on the fact that I just don't trust anyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And you seemed you were not shy about casting aspersions upon a stranger who was within earshot about doubting his navigational skills.
Yeah, no, I was being very rude.
And then after successfully leading us to said restaurant, you then did not believe I knew how to get back to the hotel from whence we had come, which you would think, having successfully navigated us to the restaurant, would have bought me a little bit of credit.
This is my least favorite part of the story.
Yeah, you'd think that would have bought me a little bit of credit for knowing where I was going, and yet on a return to the hotel, you also thought I would not know how to get to that.
So all of that happened.
Yeah, and I was like, the next day I asked Betty, I was like, why is your jerk friend Kate such a jerk to me and hates me so much?
Yeah, which is also a question that Chris Sims asked for different reasons, I guess.
Yeah, for no good reason.
I don't hate any of the Chris's at Comics Alliance. I think you're all lovely. So, I guess I'm just a jerk unintentionally. So
Two Chris's
specifically.
But you didn't even do anything to Sims. Like,
no,
you literally said things in my presence saying like, this idiot doesn't know where he's going.
Yeah, I did do that.
I mean, that's not what you said, but that was very much the spirit
like
in which you said it.
Can I skip to the good part? Can I get to the part where I don't look terrible?
Where it's the next day, and then suddenly we have. But even that night, it was great because even that night, the night where we realized we were becoming best friends, it was literally mere minutes before we had our revelatory moment.
Yes,
you were still being churlish to me.
Churlish.
You were still being, you were still just you refused to warm to me. Mm-hmm. When I was like, we had kind of, because we had so many mutual friends together there, and it's like we kept ending up in the same place on account of said mutual friends. Mm-hmm. And it was like there would be times where we would and I would just try to say something to you, and you're still just like, yeah, I don't know, and look off. Yeah.
See, my problem is that it's partially my ingrained distrust of men, mm-hmm. and then secondly, my social anxiety, which manifests itself as standoffishness and or rudeness, mm-hmm. Because I don't know how to talk to people when I haven't met them before, mm-hmm. And sometimes I do it very wrong, and that's what happened.
Yep,
it happens frequently.
But I know you now.
Yeah,
yeah,
so we're fine. You're not still mad at me about that.
I'm not still sore about it. Yeah,
so,
no. And then we were standing around around a table outside of the art auction at Heroes on Saturday night, mm-hmm. and you took your jean jacket off, mm-hmm. and I was like, "Oh my Lord, you seem to have an amazing tattoo." And I saw the look in your face as you were already assuming I was going to think it was the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then I said, like, that's amazing. You have a Metaluna Mutant tattoo. And then your face changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you were like, wait a minute. You were like, I'm not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt that you might be a decent person. You were like, wait. Why does this mean something? Why does this mean something to you? And I was like, well, I mean, I am a big Universal Monsters fan, fan of that kind of thing. But more importantly, it's because This Island Earth was from the movie they did on Mystery Science Theater, the movie. And then just the cold walls of ice just melted away. And mm-hmm. suddenly you were like, oh, now let me be friends with you.
Yeah. And immediately I was so excited. And it was partially because I had just gotten this tattoo like a couple of weeks before, and I was very excited about it. And then immediately after getting it, people started asking me if it was the alien from Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Which I understand because it's a similar
if
sort
you're
of
an idiot.
Yeah. If you are a peasant, a person who knows nothing of anything, you would assume that it is a Mars Attacks Martian. And
if you can't tell the difference in things, maybe.
If you have face blindness.
Yeah, if you've got that disease where you don't see things so good, I think it's called blindness. Mm-hmm. Regular blindness.
Which is fine to mock.
That's not mocking. I'm just saying that would be a good excuse for not being able to see the difference.
Yes. Which would be perfectly reasonable. So I'd had a bunch of people at the convention that day specifically go to my tattoo and be like, oh man, that's so awesome. And I would start to get very excited and be like, oh yeah. And they'd be like, oh, Mars Attacks, it's the best. And then I started to have
What did you do with their bodies?
No one will ever know because I can't be arrested in America.
That's right.
So I was already feeling kind of down about it. And then when you started talking to me about it and when you addressed it, I was like, oh, I really hope this isn't going to happen again, but I'm pretty sure it is. I hope
this guy I already hate isn't going to make me hate him even more.
And, but I was so pleasantly surprised. And then immediately
we started talking about Mystery Science Theater.
Yep.
And then it was like, we were at a thing where people were drinking.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, let's go get drinks.
Yeah, Betty sent us off.
To go get drinks. She could see that it's like, oh, her witchcraft had worked. And that like, oh, these two people who I was trying to make be friends will now be friends. And she sent us off to get drinks. And then we discovered that there was, at the same time as Nerd Prom, there was also a wedding party? What do you call it after the wedding?
I don't know. After wedding?
The reception.
I guess.
A wedding reception. Yeah.
The after wedding?
No, it's a reception. That's what you call it. Yeah.
A
reception was also being held in this big hotel. Mm-hmm. And we went over to the bar and we saw this happening. And then it quickly became apparent that I was going to have to get pictures with the bride.
Mm-hmm. And steal their glow sticks.
And we were going to have to basically crash this wedding party.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Mm-hmm.
And they found us a delight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's really not even bad that we did it because they were thrilled to have us.
It was great because Chris and I both realized very quickly that we were both into games of one-upmanship.
Yeah, we were. I think that the two most important things we established were that neither of us were cops.
Yep.
And that we liked to party.
We do like to party. And it was a delight. And I have all these photos of Chris as part of this wedding party. And I'm internally like, I love the idea of the dare of go over and get your photo with the bride. But as soon as Chris actually started to do it, I was like, oh, God, what if this all goes downhill?
Lucky for me, I knew how charming I can be to brides' mothers.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah, I went over there, and that was the whole thing. Is like I knew I had to ingratiate myself to the family first, not just approach the bride right off.
No, you worked your way in very clearly.
I went and talked to the mom, clearly the mother of the bride, and then the aunt and some other old lady of the bride, and got in with them. And I noticed that the father of the bride was watching all of this very closely.
Yeah.
But once you get the mother and the other old lady smiling, then dad either gets real mad or it's like, oh, okay, I guess this is all right, and goes back to his drinking.
Yeah. It was great. And then like the very end of the night, we ran into someone that I'm still not entirely sure whether they were part of this same wedding or not.
Oh boy, that
drunk
was
guy.
Yes.
Who just walked at us.
He was coming at us with a purpose. Like he really
from down a very long hallway that no one else was in.
He really thought we were someone else. And then he got to us, and instead of going, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a drunk guy who mistook you for someone I knew. I got to give it to him. He doubled down and was just like, I'm going to try to drunkenly have a conversation with these strangers.
Yep. He really went for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we did nothing but lie to him.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we had fake names and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a great time.
Yep.
And then from that day
and thus friendship.
We were best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And great. Thus friendship.
And here we are in Memphis.
Yep.
The place of Chris's home.
Living. Yeah. It's where I do most of my living.
Most of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things that make up living in general, I do here. I've got the sleeping, I got the eating, I got the being awake, the sitting, the standing.
Walking your dog.
Yeah, the walking, a little bit of the talking, the cleaning, chores, laundry, folding,
I think
sorting.
That falls under chores.
Yeah, but when I think of chores, who could think of laundry as a chore? It's so fun. Hat wearing.
Yeah.
Organizing.
Okay, so anyway, in this for this episode,
game playing.
We approached it a little bit differently, and
snacking.
It's a little extra long.
Drinking.
It's a little extra fun, and I hope that you're going to enjoy it.
Lounging.
What is Kate reading? What am I reading now? What is Kate reading? What am I reading now?
All right, so since Chris and I are doing this whole show together, we are doing the What Are You Reading section together. And we went to Comics and Collectibles here in Memphis, right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
I'm waiting for you to say something wrong, and then I can
correct it. Okay, cool.
You do what you do.
All right.
Podcast.
So I picked up a bunch of stuff that I could not wait to read until I got home. There's a new issue of Captain Marvel, but since I'm a couple issues behind, I am going to get that when I get back to Halifax because I haven't been keeping up. But I did pick up Miss Marvel, and Adrian Alfona is back on art on that after the 2 issues with Jake Wyatt, and it is a delight. I'm having so much fun with that comic. It just keeps being adorable. So that was really great. A new issue of Velvet is awesome. Ed Brubaker described it on Twitter as being the all men issue everyone was waiting for, because Velvet, the titular character, is not really in it very much at all. It's all about kind of the men in her life in the comic.
Yeah, I feel like there really has been an outcry about there not being enough men in comics.
Yeah, definitely.
Both characters and then behind the scenes making them. It really has seemed like there's not enough.
I mean, the industry is so overrun with women.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really a shame.
It's I don't know. It's over. It's so over. I don't even know if overrun is a powerful enough word. It's more like infested.
Yeah. I mean, you are the only guy I know working in comics.
I mean, if you can call it working.
Or like associated with
yeah,
comics.
like sort of in the general vicinity of comics.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for good reason, I guess, but like, you know, it would be
my general feminine-liness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this was, you know, it was a nice change to see a little less, you know, women
just clamoring for a male protagonist, or not even protagonist. I mean, hell, a side character.
Mm-hmm.
That's the outcry I've been hearing on, you know, on the internet.
Just once.
If there were but one male character.
I mean, they hinted at one point that Miss Marvel was gonna, finally be, you know, Mr. Marvel.
Yeah.
And that was gonna start happening.
That seemed exciting for a moment.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It's just, they tease you with these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they would just do a superhero movie with like a male protagonist.
Yeah. I mean, why can't we see some powerful men with amazing abilities, you know, doing something on
we've had like 7 Birds of Prey feature films at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
you know?
The years and years of different television series.
Oh yeah, that like Hawk Girl is in its like 7th season at this point.
I mean, the clothing you see everywhere, the breakfast cereals, the fruit snacks, and none of it. Not a man on any of it.
The branded high-heeled shoes.
Yeah.
Is the thing where I'm like,
but only men are allowed to wear them.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't get it. So it was nice to see, you know, Brubaker, who, I mean, it's so kind that he's been given work on account of his handicap of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a real joy to see him be able to represent himself a little bit, his friends, and, you know.
Now, do your listeners understand jokes, or I'm not sure. I haven't interacted with too many of your listeners, so you know.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and confused,
look up humor.
Look up deadpan.
Yeah. That seems to have been a real problem you've had while you were here at Memphis's Comics and Collectibles.
Yeah.
Was how deadpan everyone was in our sense of humor.
I'm so confused. I can never tell if anyone's kidding or not.
Now, do you guys have humor in Canada?
Well, like it was introduced in 1994.
Mm-hmm. So it's still roughly new.
Well, yeah, I mean, because Kids in the Hall happened, and you know, there was a national outcry against it because people were so confused.
Yeah, they didn't get it's like. Why are these people saying things that they don't mean?
I mean, like cross-dressing is a very big, proud part of Canada's history. So I mean, that's why it was so predominantly.
That's what
included.
I thought. Well, yeah, I mean, I figured that's what the flag was about. But
yeah. But you know, the joke aspect of it was, I think people it took a really long time for people to latch on to the fact that you can say something and it's not serious and it's meant to make you.
It means
laugh.
It doesn't mean what it seems like it would mean on the surface.
Yeah, there were booklets handed out, and I think that really helped.
Okay.
But, you know, they didn't get to everyone.
There's been a lot of pamphlet talk this episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to take this podcast in a new direction.
Pamphlet
cast.
Yeah, okay.
We just discussed.
Well, I just assumed it meant that Canada was really big on pamphlets.
Yeah. Well,
you know, as a source of national information. Like
we're still.
I know you guys only
just
have like
getting the internet.
Yeah, I know you only have like a half hour of television a week.
Yep.
And then the music is only for an hour a week.
It's 1 hour, but it's on Newfoundland time.
Well, yeah, but if it stands to reason that you'd have a little bit more music time than TV time because music has been around longer. So
yeah.
I assume eventually you guys will move up to the full hour of television, or at least 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, we'll get there. But I mean, we're a very sensitive people, and you don't want to shock anybody.
Don't want to startle.
It's so cold all of the time that everyone's sort of like. Their hearts are very fragile.
Yeah. Oh, I assume that everybody is very easily startled. Mm-hmm. I assume from living in the wilderness, you guys very much behave.
I mean, there's some very edgy talk about us getting like horror movies at some point.
I assume when you say horror movies, though, you mean like those black and white 1950s American.
Oh, if that. I'm talking like silent films, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well, I wouldn't advise for that since some of those silent films are utterly horrifying.
A little shocking.
Yeah, I mean, humor aside, some of those movies are terrifying.
It's true. I also read Hawkeye number 20.
Oh, good.
Which is Kate Bishop's last issue, because I think the series is winding down, which is a shame. I'm so sad. I love it. But
You're sad that you love it?
No, I'm sad that it's ending, because I do love it. This issue, I think, was very confusing for me because it's been so long in between issues that I kind of forgot what was happening.
Yeah.
I love Annie Wu's art, and I've talked about that before. You know, she's amazing. So
is the issue like Kate-centric?
Yeah, because that's what they started doing. And when they originally announced it, it was so exciting because it was like, oh, it's going to be, 2 issues of Hawkeye that David Aja is going to be drawing, and then 2 issues of Kate Bishop that Andy Wu is going to be drawing.
Which she's great.
She's amazing. And then they did a couple of them, and they were like, oh, now the series is ending. So.
Oh, that's a huge bummer. Now, what kind of outfits did Kate try on in this issue?
Oh, there's a whole montage section where she's talking to different people and wearing different outfits in every frame.
I assume she's talking about Hawkeye.
No.
To the other people.
No, she's talking about her investigative private eye business. I mean, she mentions Hawkeye in the comic a few times. Yeah. Yeah.
I assumed that. Well, I just assumed she would, if everyone would, anytime she would be talking about something to other people, it would be in reference to him.
No.
Since boy, you're really not letting me have this one.
No, I'm really not.
I was really trying to
I'm sorry.
I mean, that joke works as a way to say, to highlight how good the book is. If we say if I make this joke and it's not true.
I'll give you the next one.
But no, that was the last one.
I doubt that. I also picked up a couple new series. I tried Hexed, which had been recommended to me because it was a series that I think Emma Rios had drawn when it was as a relaunch of a series, and Emma Rios had drawn it, and it was like one of her first things or her first comic work, and she's doing the covers on this series, but it's being drawn by somebody else. And
who puts that out?
I left it in the other room.
Oh, but
by the time that you talk, I will know.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure. I think Boom's doing that one, but it's neat. What's
it about?
Magic. There's some magic going on. Curses. The dark arts.
I do know a lot about that subject. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
I do.
It's really weird. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I just sort of flipped through that one. I haven't got to read the whole thing yet, but I'm going to.
So since you haven't read it, it's really not fair for you to put it in your what you're reading. I read
the first 7 pages, and I liked them a lot.
Well,
yeah.
I guess if we can judge all books on their first 7 pages, it's a wonderful
I think we can.
Quick reading world.
It's my podcast.
Do what you like.
I also read the entirety of Copperhead #1.
Oh.
Which I also really liked. It's a space western.
Ooh.
Which is a genre that I occasionly will dip my toe into. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it.
What are some other space westerns you like?
Firefly.
Okay. Okay. Good answers. Good answers.
Well, I had been told that East of West was really good, but I haven't read it.
Okay.
That is also a space western. I'm really not. Anyway, this comic is great.
It looked neat.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a woman and her son.
Never mind. I don't need no comics with women. Again, folks.
You're really going back on your...
This is jokes. Jokes.
So yeah, it's a woman and her son moving to this planet because obviously something terrible has happened on the planet she was on before. She had, they don't really explain what happened, but they had to get away from a situation possibly that she had caused. So they moved to this new planet, and right away a bunch of bad stuff starts happening, and it's pretty cool. She's a really interesting character. Would you say that the bad stuff, forwards the plot? I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's violent. There's some cool looking aliens. And a neat last page.
Neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say she's a really interesting character.
I really screwed you on that one. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What I wanted
What did you want me to do?
What I wanted you to do is you were naming, okay, so, of course, there's a rule of threes in comedy. Mm-hmm. And you had said, there's this. And I was like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you were like, there's this. And I was like, mm-hmm. And then I had a really good, really into it, mm-hmm. queued up for that third thing you were going to say. And I was trying to go, I was dying for that third thing. And it didn't happen.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It looked like you were already in the midst of it. I was trying to give you this, like, one more, but you took it as a, like, oh, is he wanting me to pause? But no.
Get off on being withholding.
I'm just trying to be entertaining. That's the thing. I mean, it doesn't. I had it in my mind. It happened in my mind either way.
Yeah.
But it didn't get to happen for the listeners. They're gonna be like, "This is the worst episode ever.
Yeah.
Why did you let this braying jackass on your show?"
Yeah. I'm sure someone will say that now.
Yes.
That you've given them that.
That'll be the
line to
T-shirt.
use.
Yeah.
This braying jackass
Yeah.
with Chris and Kate.
Just a picture of my face. Like, why did you let this braying jackass on your show?
That'd be great. It'll just be your face on like a cartoon, like the Shrek donkey, which we will get the rights to. My last thought to finish that is I do like Copperhead because the main character, the female protagonist, is not very likable in the first issue. She says some stuff that you're like, oh no, this isn't classic, like set you up to like the hero dialogue. Like, you know, they're saying this thing that you're like, yeah, I'm rooting for you. She says a couple things you're like, oh, she's a jerk.
What are some comics you didn't like?
I don't know. I never talk about comics I don't like on
the
the show.
What are some? Who are some people you don't like?
Well, I'm not going to do this. Chris, what did you read this week? I try and keep this positive. I'm negative enough on the internet.
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, I'm used to always having a podcast where that was very much our thing, was about being, trying to be positive, enthusiastic and stuff. And it's like, now I can come ruin yours. I can come be on yours and be all negative and hateful.
Chris, what did you hate this week?
No,
just in general.
No, I try to not be about things I hate. I try to just look at the fun stuff.
So what did you like? Teen Dog's out this week too.
Well, way to take that one right out of my mouth.
I'm so sorry. I read it before, and
big shot over here.
I am.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
Very
Rolled
fancy.
up in my golden Corvette.
Can't drive a car, but okay. You literally would have rolled up in it. Like, it would have come rolling down the street in a tumbling
If you would
fashion.
let me finish, I had a chauffeur.
Oh.
To the VIP comic store, where they had my advance copy waiting for me on a plate. Handed to me by a
good one. I'm glad you went with it. Really did a great job there.
So, did you read Teen Dog?
You set us up. You set us up, and then you really let us down. I don't so much read comics as buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are comics that I probably would have read if there hadn't been a horrible Canadian here taking up all my free time. Mm-hmm. So, but the comics I bought were about the first two issues of Steven Universe, written by Jeremy Cerise, who is also an amazing artist. Turns out he's also a great writer. But more importantly, and even if I didn't already like Steven Universe, I would be, I would have bought this comic, a million times over, because Coleman Ingle is drawing it, and like, goodness, just what a wonderful world we live in where we get to have a monthly comic with art by him. The only bad thing is that it's not like a weekly or perhaps daily comic by him. I'm just so in love with his art. It's ridiculous.
It's so fun.
And I feel like, all the stuff I get though is like, man, here's another artist that I just couldn't love anymore. It's a wonderful time to buy comics if you are me and you like art that I like. I also bought what else did I buy? I bought a bunch of my stuff was like catching up because I actually hadn't been to the comic shop in a while, for this reason or another reason, or perhaps that other reason.
It was,
I had reasons, and amongst those reasons were this, that, and the other thing. I got the last two issues of All New Dupe because Peter Milligan and Mike Allred's X-Force / X-Statix is like one of my favorite comics of all time, and Dupe is a favorite character, and Peter Milligan returning to that character is very exciting, even though it was just a miniseries. And David LaFuente's art is superb. So that was super cool. I got Teen Dog. I haven't got to read it yet, but I did like flip through it in the comic shop, which was sold out of it, which is exciting for Teen Dog.
It is exciting.
All right, Roxy, you just take off. And
Roxy's the cat.
Yeah, Roxy's the cat that decided to come be a part of the podcast for a moment and then was like, this podcast is boring. And she took off.
You could almost say she was a podcat.
Oh, boy. You could say that if you were an idiot. Yeah, so the comic shop sold out. So that was exciting for Teen Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Boom's excited about that.
I'm sure Jake's excited.
Yeah. First name basis, are we?
I'm friends with Jake.
Well,
there you go.
I can't wait to cash in this name dropper jar you've been forced to leave money in the whole time you've been here.
Yeah, every time I drop a name, I'm supposed to leave money in a jar.
You're supposed to drop some money in the jar, which is how I'm going to fund.
You're going to be so rich.
It's how I'm going to fund all of my various operations I'll need to keep living.
I can't wait to get home and say my friend Chris Haley had a name drop jar, and then have to put money in the name drop jar I have at home.
Canadian, but then you can put Canadian because here you have to put American money in it.
Yeah.
You can switch back to your goofy money there.
It's perfectly.
Your loonies and your toonies. Yeah, it totally sounds like real money.
It's real money.
Does not sound like.
You can use it. You can exchange it for goods and services. So I don't know. I hope everyone enjoyed the sound of the cat using the litter box in the background just now.
I don't think she was even using it. I think she just likes to go in there and make some noise. Yeah. I also got Teen Dog looked neat. I just got to flip through it. I liked Jake Lawrence's art before this happened, so like I knew him from the internet. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't know him.
Okay, well, I've never met him,
but I mean, I was familiar with his work from the internet.
But he's going to be at New York Comic Con.
Well,
yeah, they're doing a whole big like Teen Dog launch thing, so it's really exciting.
I hope there's pizza.
I'm sure there will be.
I wish I had some right now.
Me too.
No, you don't. You don't like pizza.
Yeah, I just wanted to be part of it.
I just wanted to feel like I was part of the club. I also got, I had missed a couple issues of Daredevil, which, I mean, Chris Samnee is pretty hard to beat. I got the issue of, Cartoon Network's, IDW's Cartoon Network Super Secret
Crisis War?
Super Secret Crisis War, the Johnny Bravo issue, because it's drawn. But I mean, I've gotten several of the issues of this big cartoon character crossover in comic form.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I haven't gotten the Billy and Mandy one because I heard it was terrible. But but I got this one because our friend Erica Henderson did the art for it, which is exciting. So I finally got to pick that up. And
your friend Erica Henderson, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna put money in that jar?
No, because she's my friend. I'm not saying that like, oh, check out this celebrity that I'm friends with.
Wow.
Just saying she's my friend. I wasn't saying it in a name drop kind of way. And I said our friend.
That's true. Erica, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, that really backfired on you, didn't it?
Her art's really great.
It is. So I got that. I got like a couple issues of All New X-Men, which is my favorite X-Men book that I was behind on. And last and probably least in most people's eyes would be I got the Superboy Future's End one shot, which
got one of them fancy lenticular covers.
Indeed, 3D lenticular, make you feel like your eyes are going weird on you covers. And I don't know what on earth. I mean, I don't read a lot of DC stuff because a lot of it is so terrible. No offense.
None taken, Chris.
Not you, but to the people who make it. I mean, there's DC stuff that I do like, and there's upcoming books I'm excited about. Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't have to name names, but I'm sure everyone knows which ones we're talking about.
Just name a couple.
Well, there's the Bat Lady?
Bat
Gal?
Bat
Gal?
Bat Chick.
Bat Flirt, I think it is.
Wow. Bat Flirt. Wow. You really went there.
Yeah, but no one understands.
Nope.
But that one was that was
Bat Girl.
That was just for you. Me saying Bat Flirt was just for you. So
because I get it.
Yeah, so don't give me a hard time about it.
I won't.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, but I picked up, just for whatever reason, with all that flood of hard to look at covers. For some reason, I picked up the Superboy one, and I have no idea what made me pick up that one over some of the others. And lo and behold, the art in it is by Ben Caldwell, who is like an amazing artist, and he doesn't normally just do comics. He was the guy that did the Wonder Woman comic, though, in Wednesday Comics.
That was so beautiful.
Exactly. He wrote and drew that, and he's like a master. But most of his stuff is he does. He's usually working in animation, and he does comic stuff, but it's like his own it's his own stuff, or it's like Dare Detectives, or it's like where he did like a series of. He was like the person behind a series of comic adaptations of like great literature, and. It was like, oh my gosh, what an exciting thing to randomly find and not know about. So it was such a nice surprise, and the art looks great, and who knows what the story's going to be like, but I can always just look at the pictures. So there you go. So that's what I got. I haven't read any of it other than just kind of flipping through. But all of my comics are just based on art anyway, so it's like it doesn't matter if the stories are good. It's great when they are, but if the story's bad, it's just like, boy, look at these pretty pictures. Comics sure are a visual medium.
I feel really good about that as a writer.
Yeah. That's me. I'm not saying everybody's like that. And I love good. There's writers I follow and who I will read even if their stuff is bad. Yeah, you're an artist too, though, so don't get uppity about it.
I'm not. I'm just joshing.
Don't get on your writer high horse. Don't get on your New York Times bestselling author high horse.
Ooh. Anyway.
It must be so tough being so multi-talented. Yeah,
you would not believe the blood sacrifices that I have to do on a daily basis.
Well,
anyway, so that's what you're reading?
I guess that would explain what you've been doing in the bathroom for so long.
I wish it could. I wish it could even begin to cover.
Well, that's what I haven't been reading any of them, but if that's what I've been flipping through and admiring the art.
Works for me.
Wishing I could kill those people and eat them to steal their powers.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/lessthanlive. There are approximately 1 billion titles to choose from for whichever media device suits your fancy. Don't quote me on that number. There are a lot. Overwhelmed by choices? Listen, I got you. The BBC radio production of Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, which is awesome, is now available on Audible. I'm talking James McAvoy, Christopher Lee, Anthony Head, who was Giles, by the way, and Natalie Dormer. You know how I feel about Natalie Dormer. It's an awesome recording, and with our trial, it's free. You can't argue with that price. Just head to audibletrial.com/lessthanlive and let those beautiful accents take you away.
She's so sweet. Caleb is gonna answer your tweets.
So your friend and mine, Bay Area, on Twitter, also known as @Leask.
Friend.
Person.
You say.
That we're both aware of. Asked.
Yeah.
What are your favorite Sloan albums and songs? Full album rankings appreciated, Chris, which is a great question for a podcast about comics.
Yeah, and he also said full album rankings appreciated, Chris.
In all capitals.
That's how he wrote it. Well, first of all, I appreciate that he thinks that he knows more about Sloan than I do just because he's from Canada. Or that he,
Well, we are handed those booklets at birth.
Yeah, they're talking about Sloan.
Yeah. Anyone born after, 1973, I think, was given that booklet. It was, some of them were prophetic.
Yeah. I assumed that some of them would have to have been, sacred texts.
Yeah.
Foretelling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead, Noob. What are your favorite Sloan albums and songs?
Yeah, that's not a question for me. I don't know.
No, the full album rankings appreciated, Chris, was his question for me.
Oh, okay.
I can answer the other part, too, but...
Well, I don't... my introduction to Sloan... This is great. This is real local. Some real local fun.
Yeah.
Nothing that comics people enjoy more than hearing about Sloan.
Yeah. Well, if they don't, that's their problem, frankly.
Really is.
I think that's on them.
It's a thing we have in common. So I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is a very famous place if you're from near Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is where Sloan sort of got started, as far as I know.
Half of the band is from Halifax.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But I had never really been aware of Sloan until Chris and I became friends when we met at Heroes Con, where? In North Carolina? Is that where that was?
Yep. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Beautiful downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. Home of NASCAR.
Right.
Eat at this Buffalo Wild Wing. We dare you.
It's a dare.
Yep.
So I had never been familiar, and then when I got home, Chris sent me his intro, beginner's guide to Sloan.
It's come on, and a beginner's guide to Sloan. Yeah.
Yeah. Which you made a little cover art for it.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah, it's cute. I like to do a thing right if I'm going to do a thing.
Uh-huh. So that is pretty much the extent of my.
Well, it's like I think I talked to you about Sloan, and you're like, oh yeah, they're from here, but I don't give a shit about them because I'm from here, and like it's not a big deal to me. And I was like, well, you are the one missing out here.
Yeah. So the extent of my knowledge of them is pretty much that mix CD, and then like
good,
which is great. I'm really doing my people proud.
Yep.
But the one song that really stood out to me is "Coax Me." I think that's my favorite song. That's my favorite song now. I know. I don't care. Whatever. Things are popular sometimes because they're good.
You're so defensive.
I am very defensive.
You don't have
my nature.
This is not a defensive issue. I'm just saying, like, that's a very original choice.
Okay, so
that's a great song. Actually, I think "Coax Me" is the first Sloan song that I heard back a million years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Thank you.
Good answer, Chet.
All right, full album rankings appreciated, Chris.
My favorite Sloan albums are Between the Bridges and Action Packed. And I mean, well, this is like a hard question because it's like I like them all, and they all have songs I really like. It'd been easier if you'd asked me to rank the members of Sloan, one in order of preference musically, and then one and then another one in order of cuteness.
Do the cuteness one.
That would be Andrew's the cutest.
Okay.
And then Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And then Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jay.
It sucks to be Jay.
It does suck to be Jay, and he gets that because he was rude to me. Unlike your, I was expecting this famous Canadian hospitality,
which you can normally come to expect.
Yeah, especially from from Nova Scotians apparently.
Haligonians specifically.
Oh,
that's what they're called.
Canceled.
You like that?
Fired.
You like that? What are people from Memphis called?
Shot out of a rocket into space.
There's
no G in Halifax. Why would you add a G in there?
Well, because
Memphians.
What?
It's pretty easy.
That sounds like you're from under the ocean.
No, it doesn't.
A little bit.
Come on. You're better than that.
I don't know if I am.
So yeah, no, but Jay was the first time I met the band. He was the only one that was churlish to me. The others were all very kind, and I this is a trip like a 16-hour trip I had made to see them.
Where?
In Ohio.
Oh.
In the middle of a snowstorm.
Oh.
Yeah, and everyone else was like very super nice to me, and Jay was not.
Wow.
So take that, Jay. Even though I do in order.
What an asshole!
In order of musicality, though, I like Chris, then Jay, then Patrick, then Andrew.
So does that forgive his transgressions?
No, it doesn't.
You still hate him?
I don't hate him. I mean, it's just.
Would you hit him?
No.
No.
He'd probably shatter if I did.
Yeah.
He'd burst into a cloud of dust.
Oh.
He's so slight and fragile.
Oh. See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Surprise, surprise. Don't even know about your local heroes.
All right. That's that question.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all good, man. I like, Action Packed was like a really big deal one to me, even though that's like one of their less successful albums, but it was a real big deal to me. Mm-hmm. Twice Removed has twice been voted the best album ever recorded in Canada.
Wow.
I hope you guys are enjoying the Sloancast you tuned in for.
So they're just getting to know you.
Yeah, well,
getting to know my lack of knowledge about.
Well, what they're getting to know is, as you have gotten to know, is that when you ask me a question about something that I know about, it is like pulling the cord on one of those.
Reading the entire Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
You cannot get the Cliff Notes.
It's like, asking me a question is like being forced to read the entire Wikipedia article.
Which makes for great radio.
I mean, I certainly can talk for a long time.
Okay, so there's another question that is more specifically for me, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and Chris, you can fake it.
Oh, good. Just what I was hoping to do on this podcast.
It's actually, you know what? We're going to skip that one because that doesn't make any sense.
No, I might want to go to Ireland. Come on.
You're spoiling it.
Answer your questions.
All right. Tweedledee, when people, it's like, this is your Twitter name, at A7X Diarmuid.
Well, the A7X is for Avenged Sevenfold, is a
Is
band.
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. So clearly Tweedledee is a big Avenged Sevenfold fan.
Wow.
Yeah, I know lots of things.
Wow. I don't know anything about music.
Now, the Diarmuid, I am less certain about.
Okay.
But the A7X is Avenged Sevenfold.
Right.
Yeah, Backcountry was a great song, wasn't it, Tweedledee? That's a song.
He's like
by
sitting
them.
there just like giggling now.
Oh,
in the future.
In the future, he is in wrapped
Joy. Let's just say joy.
There's another word I'm looking for, and
You
it's
gonna get
not
there?
quite. Anyway,
So he asks, what are you looking forward to the most about your trip to Ireland? And
Tweedledee, wasn't it great when Avenged Sevenfold went away for a couple years and really learned how to play their instruments, and then came back and were a really good band? Wasn't that exciting?
he can't answer you.
No, but I mean, he'll be thinking about it
Yeah.
when he hears this.
He just wants to know about my trip to Ireland.
Okay, well, maybe he wants to know about your trip to Ireland because he thinks that's a thing that's going to get him answered.
Oh, I guess.
But
We could just talk about Avenged Sevenfold.
oh yeah, I could.
There's
I'm just kidding. I couldn't talk about the
Tweedledee. I am most excited about my trip to Ireland because I'm staying with some friends I've never met, so that's going to be exciting. I get to
Hard to call them friends then.
Internet friends.
Okay.
They're friends that I haven't met, which I guess if the song is to be followed means they are strangers.
Yes.
So my strangers that
There
I'm
needs
staying
to
with in
be
Ireland.
way more just musical references on your show.
I don't think there needs to be. That's not what people are.
Well,
I mean, I guess people have diverse interests.
Yeah, people don't just like comics.
That's true. Some people.
I mean, I don't know any, but
Yeah, me either.
well, I mean, this guy clearly likes Avenged Sevenfold. So.
All right. And that other guy likes Sloan.
Yeah.
That
Well,
dude.
he didn't say he liked Sloan. He just wanted
Oh.
to know about them.
Okay. Well, I am looking forward to, we're going to go to some distilleries, as far as I'm told, and go on a ghost tour.
I could have answered this question for you because
'Cause
I know the part you're most excited about.
My ghost tour?
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I'm kind of a wimp. I'm like a huge scaredy cat. So the idea of a ghost tour is both exciting and terrifying to me.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think it's going to be great.
Mhm.
That's pretty much
Tell
it.
what's it called?
The Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's about comics.
It is about comics. And I haven't looked it up yet to see what that actually consists of.
I can't believe. Wait, you haven't looked up what the comics part?
No,
consists
I
of?
know what the Hellfire Club is. I'm familiar with that,
Are you?
vaguely.
All right.
And I know that it means people are in corsets and fancy clothes.
Yes, you've gotten directly to the heart of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry for doubting you.
Thank you. Never again. Okay, there are 2 other questions. We're going to do 4 this time.
Is this how many?
I normally do 3.
Oh, I figured you would want to do a lot more than that.
Well, we're going to do, because this is all we got.
Oh,
Because
wow.
look up there in the Twitter account, that's you. That's just
Bummer.
you. People
Bummer.
are at
I
work.
thought you were popular.
I don't. Donnie Kicklighter, whose Twitter name is @DeafByJazzHands.
That's a good name and a
That's
good
pretty good.
icon.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know.
I like
It's
it.
cute.
Yeah.
I like the art
Cool
style.
Cool guy.
Good for you. Maybe that icon is Donnie Kicklighter.
Do you think that's what he looks like?
Maybe.
Has
maybe,
a little.
Maybe this is like an animated character who has a Twitter account.
Okay, so he has a little hat with is that a light on it?
It's got an arrow in it.
It's an arrow stuck in it. He's got a big red nose
Yeah.
and a little business shirt and tie and pants, but he's kicking up dust as he moves.
As he runs.
Yeah, but he can't be
He's sweaty.
He's sweaty.
Like he's nervous. Like he's running away from something. I mean, there's an
Yeah.
arrow in his hat, so clearly
It looks
he
like he's
is
got a 5 o'clock shadow there.
Yeah.
Too.
kind of an Indiana Jones look about him
Yeah.
slightly.
An adventurer.
Yeah, but it looks like he's got little. Has he got little gloves, or is that? No, I guess that's skin color.
It might just be his hands.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? But you got. Let's. I mean, I feel like we could talk even further at length about this little avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And this avatar is not going to have anything to do with this guy. This is some other property that someone else
I
owns,
just
and we're
took
just
that.
yeah. We're just giving all this free advertising to, but or there are people who know exactly what this is, and they're like, "How do you idiots not know what this is?"
They're gonna be
Idiot.
obviously, of course, this is
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't.
I'm apologizing to the listeners.
In a racist Canadian impression.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I won't tell them what you said earlier this morning.
Please don't.
Okay.
Donnie Kicklighter wants to know, do you prefer working inside an existing property versus creating your own world from scratch?
Well, I've got this one since I am on a number of licensed property. Oh, wait. He means you. All right. Well,
I mean, you've done things for things.
I have been accused occasionally of doing things for things.
Yeah.
Sometimes, accused of doing things to things.
Wow.
But, that's not the time or the place here now.
Why you can't enter several countries and municipalities.
That's why I haven't been to Canada. All those things I did to
explains it. I like both. I think I've talked about sort of how to figure out working in existing properties and to work with characters.
How to subvert them to your own whims. And
how to make them gay and weird.
How to push your own agendas onto
the youth.
Well, not onto the youth, but just onto the characters.
Yeah. Which I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no shame in that. I try and force my ideologies and beliefs on the unsuspecting public. Or the mildly suspecting public, if they have any.
Like the Christians.
I'm precisely like that.
Yep.
Yeah, in every way. I like both a lot. I just started doing my own kind of webcomic thing, which is the first thing I've done that was like my own characters. It wasn't just me, since pretty much I wrote stories in high school. So I'm really enjoying that. It's actually kind of fun and to think about that stuff and kind of build up these little worlds. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. It's neat. It's new. It's different. I think I had to take all this time writing other people's stuff before I was confident enough to try and invent my own my own characters. So that was fun.
Sounds like a good answer.
Thanks, Chris.
I don't know how Donnie Kicklighter couldn't be pleased with that answer.
I hope that he is. I hope he's kicking up dust on his way down to the mine.
Yeah, he looks like he looks miner-esque.
Yeah.
But also like adventure guy.
Yeah.
So, who knows what this dude's about?
I feel like he's like the go-to guy in some sort of Western town, like a little video game Western town, where he's just like peeking around and investigating.
He looks like a human Diglett.
He does. Look a bit like a human Diglett.
Yeah. A human Diglett in clothes.
Everyone who's listening to this podcast, you need to go look up this person's Twitter icon so that you know what we're talking about.
At Deaf by Jazz Hands.
That's Def, D-E-A-F, not deaf. Just in case.
So it's deaf, not deaf?
Yeah. Just so people are clear, it's deaf, not deaf.
This is a good question too, though. You should.
Yeah, I'm going to ask this question. Well, we can both answer.
We can both answer.
We can both answer this question together. But I am not sure that I can pronounce this person's name. Do you want to give it a shot?
No.
We can say their Twitter name.
At Staz Attack.
Yeah, it's S-T-A-Z Attack.
I'm sorry. What she meant was S-T-A-Z Attack.
S-T-A-Z.
Yeah. You're adding extra letters. There's no point.
Okay.
It's not S-T-A-Z-E-D Attack.
This person wants to know, do you face a lot of doubts/insecurity when you are writing? And if so, how do you ever overcome it? I'm saying a lot of words bad.
Yeah, you seem to be a little tongue-tied today.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
So they want to know that.
Do you face a lot of doubts, insecurities when you are writing? Yes. On account of writing is hard.
Yeah. Also crippling anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
We got that in
spades. Oh, yeah. All of the creative things just lead to crippling anxiety and self-doubt and insecurity and never feeling like things are good enough. If you're if you're a creative type, unless you're one of those weirdos who's creative and has confidence.
I can't imagine what that's like.
Cannot imagine. Couldn't even begin to fathom.
I mean, there's those like brief moments sometimes when you're making something or drawing something and you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But I mean, it is inevitably followed by the
I wonder how I'm going to ruin it.
Yeah. And or when you pencil something and it looks beautiful and then you ink it and you're like,
oh, wow, I'm glad I let, the version of me that has had a stroke ink this.
Yeah, pretty much. Or like, this looks really great. And then I color it and edit it. And I'm like, oh, right, I'm not a colorist. And this is pure hot garbage.
This is Stinks like a hot summer dumpster.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know how you overcome it. I guess you just keep doing it anyway. There's no, I've certainly not found any trick to overcoming it other than just like, boy, that deadline's sure coming up.
Yeah. Obligation is pretty much the way I get over it. It's one of those things. It's like, okay, well, even if I hate this and even if I'm terrified of it and, you know, even though I'm completely doubting myself, it has to get done and I need to pay my rent. So I need to send in this script or finish this cover or I will not eat. Money is a thing that will make you over.
A grand motivator.
It's the ultimate motivator, I think.
Or more moneylessness is a grand motivator.
The fear of moneylessness as well.
The fear of not being able to purchase Disney Infinity 2.0 and all of its ensuing little gewgaws and tchotchkes when they are released next week is an ultimate motivator of I need to make sure these things happen.
Which ones are you going to get?
All of them.
All of them?
I really do want all of them. I mean, which is scary to say knowing how much they cost. But they all look so much fun. They're also, just from a design sense, the fact that it's like, oh, that Spider-Man is going to fit in perfectly with that Mr. Incredible over there. Or that, that Gamora and Vanellope can hang out right next to each other. And that
Gamora looks really cool.
Have tons of fun being super cool friends.
That would be a really good team up.
Oh man, yes, I would read that.
Yeah.
So just anything that has sort of like anytime there's like little toys that have like a unified design aesthetic across large spectrum of properties is.
Yeah, you should for the audience at home, you should see.
You probably shouldn't.
You should see the collection of pop vinyls that Chris Haley has in his possession.
Come be ashamed of this grown man.
Well, I've only
roll up, see the man with too much stuff.
I've only just started collecting these.
I don't think you could even say you collect them.
I have two. I have two,
yeah.
And one of them is currently in Massachusetts, waiting to be shipped.
We're gonna get you
because I left it there.
We'll get you some more while you're here.
I would like to,
right?
Because I only have Buffy, which I found I lucked upon in a Hot Topic in Massachusetts.
Tell me more.
I've already told you this story.
No, I know. I was saying that as though I was a new listener.
Oh, okay. Do it again. Okay, anyway, so I was in this Hot Topic in Massachusetts and found this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of Buffy where she has battle damage, which a number of other people I know had.
Number of other people. Yeah. You're doing great, kid.
Thanks.
You're doing great.
Thanks. It's my first podcast. Which a number of people I knew had bought for about $60 or $70, and I found it for $10 at Hot Topic.
They bought it for that much, like unto fools.
As if they were pure idiots.
Yeah, as if they were foolish with their money.
So I got that and was very excited about it. I didn't think I would have bought one otherwise. And I mean, because I work in a comic book store and we have so many of these. I mean, we have Windows and
Is your Buffy, what makes her a variant?
She's battle damaged.
Oh.
So instead of...
Which is your fetish?
Yeah, battered. No, I'm not going to say it.
No, just battle damage.
Just battle damage.
That is your particular toy fetish.
Yeah, battle damage.
I have a battle damage He-Man from childhood. That's a popular thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to be ashamed. This is a no judgment zone, specifically on this couch.
I'm just generally ashamed.
Of things?
Just of things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I found this Buffy. And yeah, it was, it's the same as the Buffy you would normally get, except
but the story is still going.
She has a black eye or something. Yeah. Anyway. So I got it, and then I was so excited about it. And when I got home, the day I got home, we got in the Guardians of the Galaxy pop vinyls at my comic book shop. And Chris is currently pointing to the Star-Lord he has that I almost bought for him, and I'm glad I didn't.
I would have taken two.
So close to generosity. I'm really glad I dialed it back.
Yeah. I like how so many of your stories about me almost getting presents.
I've had a present for you sitting in the room I'm staying in since I got here, and you won't let me give it to you.
Fair enough.
It's going to be really great. Okay.
Good deal.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the extent of my collection. But
yeah, I like how that all also came from how do you overcome your insecurities when writing? And it's like, well, let us tell you about these toys first.
At least it's a little more relevant.
Yeah. I think a lot of people say that, though, that it's like really the biggest thing to get over those things is just like, well, regardless of how I feel about it, I've got to turn it in.
Yeah.
It is due today, or it is due, like, those deadlines will do wonders. But I mean, that's how a lot of people go through all of their lives. It's like, boy, I'm never going to write this paper until it is the night before it's due, or.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that I will always say in favor of art school, because I mean, I didn't finish because the program at my university wasn't really directed towards what I wanted to do. I mean, there was no real illustration or sequential art program there at all. And I was starting to get into it as I left, and they were like, well, we have one class. So I bailed on that. But for people who go to school for that, I mean, yes, obviously you're going to learn a lot from instructors, but it's even just being forced to produce so much work and having to do it. And like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm self-conscious, so I'm not going to hand in this final assignment. Yeah. You need to pass.
There's also kind of like that. There's that, that famous Chuck Jones saying, and this is, and, I mean, I'm sure he didn't make this up, but I mean, it's like, he's famously said it about that thing about how every artist has like 100,000 bad drawings in them. Yeah. And it's like the quicker, and I assume this goes like writers have a, million bad words in them, or sentences or whatever in them. A million bad words, gracious. Where will you even come up with that many?
Old English, several different languages.
So it's like you have like 100,000 bad drawings in you as an artist. And it's like the more you draw, the quicker you get through those bad ones. Right. So it's practice and necessity are probably the two biggest things, unless you are, like we said, one of those freaks that is creative and confident.
Yeah, we'll kill you and steal your powers.
Yeah, if only. Oh my Lord, if only that were such a thing. If you really could just eat someone. Have you ever seen that movie Ravenous? No. Okay, well it's got Guy Pearce and yeah. Guy Pearce and Jeffrey Jones. Are you titillated enough yet?
I am.
It's also got what's the guy's name from Trainspotting? Which one? Ewan McGregor? No, the older guy. Robert Carlyle. Robert Carlyle. Yeah. It's got them, and they're like it's in the 1800s, I believe, and they're like I think it's in America, in the American wilderness. And there's a fort. Anyway, the whole point of the story is like stuff keeps happening, and people keep eating people. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like a weird historical horror, but it's not really like a horror movie. It's more like a I can't believe this is happening movie. Mm-hmm. But where when they eat people, it doesn't so much give them. It's not like it gives them powers, but it does empower them. Yeah, just knock it back. What? Alcohol is how you podcast. Yep. Yeah, it's like they heal from wounds more quickly if they kill and eat someone. Okay. Cool. And I always think about that movie when I see someone who is especially talented, and I think, boy, if only I could kill and eat them and be as talented as they are. See, my only thing that was the closest to that, I mean, other obviously than like Highlander being like, was. There's a lot less eating of people in Highlander. Well, do you have to eat them? Like, isn't it enough to kill them and take their just? Like, you don't take it. No, I mean you get the power. I mean you get it from the eating. See, mine was like I had this tenuous grasp of X-Men when I was younger. Oh boy. I don't like where this is headed. Okay, I'm not even going to finish. No. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, and all I knew. Because I watched the cartoon and I'm getting real embarrassed as I talk. Good. That is the appropriate response. If you ever want to feel bad about your knowledge about comic books, just start talking to Chris Haley. That's not true. Was that Rogue, had, absorbed up Miss Marvel's stuff in her brain and her powers. And you're a writer. I am. New York Times best-selling author. She absorbed her stuff. You should read my erotica. Oh, gracious. Anyway, so I think of that. I think of like, wouldn't it be nice to go up to someone's table at a convention and just be able to absorb their abilities? Leave them in a coma. Leave them in a coma and have them sort of haunt your brain. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, it'd be great. No downside. No, it'd be awesome. We got another question as we were talking. I saw that. I've been trying to read it for the entirety of since it came up, and I've been unsuccessful until right now. Okay. Do you want to read it, and then you can answer it? Yeah, okay. James Leach was at James D. Leach On Twitter, obviously.
Yeah.
That's what the @ in front of it means.
Yeah,
you may just be tuning in and have no idea how social media works. I don't know why you would choose to jump into the podcast, like at the 40-minute mark. So I don't know why people do a lot of things.
That's true.
I don't know why people make movies with people from Duck Dynasty. Like, I don't know.
Does that exist? Are there? Oh, wait, yeah, we were.
I don't know. I don't know why Duck Dynasty.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know lots of things why they happen, and I also don't know lots of things. Surprise! I see the surprise in your face, but as it turns out, there are lots of things I don't know.
So James Leach asks,
yes,
Chris, as you're a big fan of Superman, what's the story that best sums up your view of him in under 10 minutes?
Well, no, it's just he's asking for like one story, so I mean that's like a sentence, maybe, or like just a title. Well, I think. Well, I was wrong. I'm about to make this into a much longer thing.
In under 10 minutes, and maybe under 5.
No. I'll do it like this. The quick version of this is like there's 2 different ways I approach this. Like when I want to introduce someone to Superman, or sort of really what I think about Superman. If I'm trying to get someone who has no background in Superman, or has never, just like, I don't get why you like Superman so much. If some kind of, idiot says something like that to me,
some pure junk person.
Yeah. Some subhuman wants to come ask me why I like Superman so much. No, sorry, folks who don't care for Superman. That's fine.
We don't really say sorry like that.
I didn't say it like that.
Okay,
so you don't even know what your own. I wasn't even doing it. That's just how it's pronounced.
Answer the Superman question.
The thing that I would give people who've kind of never, or especially people who don't even necessarily have a background in comics, it's just like I want to try to give people something to like understand why I think why Superman is so great, is Superman Birthright, which is a readily available trade written by Mark Waid with art by Lionel Yu. It is the best. Like, it is astounding to me that when they made Man of Steel, they didn't just make that comic into a movie, because they were clearly trying to do like a thing that reintroduced Superman. They did the whole origin again and showed Krypton and everything. And and they stole some stuff from it. But they own it, so I guess it's not really stealing. They stole some of the good ideas from it. But that's the thing that I would give to somebody to go, like, if you just have like no background in Superman, that's like a perfect thing to go, like, this will tell you everything you need to know about why this guy is so great and like what he can do and like his world and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's the perfect like modernization of the character with still, without unnecessary things, or without, the way the New 52 did it. But then for me personally, like, it's that one. And then the other thing is, like, if you had you can give people All-Star Superman, but I don't think that's and that's like my favorite comic of all time. And as much as that is like a beautiful, just amazing, well-written, beautifully drawn thing, not a writer.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's okay when I use words like thing and stuff.
Yeah. We all have our off days, but.
Yeah. Well, I don't have New York Times bestselling author in front of my name on my business cards. So.
Well, I didn't. It's not on my business cards
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
On,
yeah. See. Yeah. So, but All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is great for just like a normal read. Like, I let my 70-something-year-old cousin who raised me read issue 10, which is like possibly the best issue of the series. Like, I just let her read that one. Like, we kind of sat there and read it together. That was the first comic I bought when I got an iPad. Like, I already had the comics, but I was like, oh, Comixology, let me buy a comic and see what this is like. And I bought that one, and we sat there and read it together on the iPad, and she really liked it. She has a history of knowing about Superman just from raising me, but, she doesn't really know a lot about him. But All-Star Superman does benefit from, if you have like, that's like a love letter to Superman more than it is like, it's still a great Superman story, but it's way more like a love letter to all things Superman than it is just a great Superman story. So if you've had like a lifelong love of Superman, there's so many neat nods to things and such wonderful kind of moments where it's like, oh, this really pays that off, or it's like, oh, just whatever. So I mean, I think people always expect me to say All-Star Superman when they ask me questions about like what the best Superman thing is, but
Right.
and it's my favorite, but I think Birthright is the best thing, and a runner-up would be Superman Secret Identity, which is not, it's about Superman but not, and is really great too. So there's your answer.
We did it.
I know that you want to the pages inside my heart.
All right, well, that's our show. Thank you so much to Chris Haley for being on it and being such a delight of a person. If you want to find him on the internet, you can find him most of the time with the username The Chris Haley. You can find him at The Chris Haley on Twitter and thechrishaley.tumblr.com. You can also go to letsbefriendsagain.com. You can find his Comics Everybody strips on Comics Alliance, and gravityfallsgossiper.com as well. Gossiper has one P. I'm going to the Memphis Comic Expo with him this weekend. That's September 13th. And then again, the Dublin International Comic Expo, September 27th to 28th. And that's going to be a delight. Many things are a delight to me. New York Comic Con is shortly after. And yeah, in the meantime, if you want to rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher, that would be really cool. If you want to keep us in both furs and minks, consider donating on villagesoundcast.com. If you have any questions or want more, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter at LTLcast, and you can get the show notes at lessthanlivecast.tumblr.com. Have a great week, and I will miss you.
I don't know how you don't know this by now, but this was a Village Soundcast Network original production.
I wish you were on every episode.
I don't know why I'm not. I'm not doing anything. I mean, shit.